Okay, so we are all set to begin with our today's webinar. A very warm welcome to all our participants present here today. HRAI welcomes you all to the 2023 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic, Is Age a Barrier for Hiring Talent? Age has often been a contentious issue when it comes to hiring talent. Some employees believe that older workers are less productive, less adaptable to new technologies, and more expensive to employ. On the other hand, many argue that age discrimination is unfair and that older workers bring a wealth of experience, knowledge, and skills to the workplace. To know more about HRI and its events, I would request all our participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It would be great to have all the participants' feedback. We will be running a poll before the Q&A session. Request all the participants to kindly give your feedback on the session. I now take the privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Lieutenant Commander Nitika Rai, Senior Technology at Ernst Young. Lieutenant Commander Nitika Rai is an experienced naval officer who served the Indian Navy for 11 years. During her illustrious career, she has handled various roles encompassing logistics and SCM, HR management, accounting, and procurement and project management. She had been instrumental in upkeeping of various departmental functions, and she had been a trusted advisor to HSOD for delivering operational excellence. She did her master's in business administration in HR and marketing and PG diploma in international logistics and SCM, and specialized in global SCM from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. She has been devoted to her professional career and she is now working with EY as a senior technology consultant since July 21. She loves reading, writing, running, and delivering motivational talks. You can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Without much time, I now hand over the platform to Ms. Nitika. Over to you.
Thank you, Faisal. Thank you, HRAI team. Give me a second. I'll just share my screen really quick. It might take some seconds. Do let me know, Faisal, once.
Yeah. So it's showing you are sharing screen.
Awesome. Second, please. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yes. Now I can see the presentation.
The presentation. All right. All right. So the topic is age a barrier for hiring talent? It came to my mind when I was just again browsing the Times over a TOI app on my mobile, and there was an article in Times Essence wherein it shows that ageism is a kind of a discrimination which happens wherein Indian Incorporation, that is INC, hires a talent. And I thought, it is a kind of making sense, though there are stereotyping mindsets which are there in various, corporations here in India. But in order to break that stereotyping mindset, there are employees and employers who are, are not discriminating as far as age is concerned. So I have few slides over here with me. When we talk about age, we always say, age is just a number, right? So I'll just come on to the facts. To my next slide, wherein it says a certain perceptions and assumption. We believe that a younger lot, we say catch them young. You might have seen a player in Indian cricket team. It was sorted out, and then finally they're selected in an Indian cricket team, and we catch the youngsters more. So, but experience always, lies in the older, oldies. So both has pros and cons. You cannot determine that, okay, the young generation will give you a better ROI than not the older one. So that stereotyping mindset should not be there within the people who are hiring the talent across various domains. And these are my personal views, and it is the topic which is currently being published in ETHR World, and it also says that age discrimination has been decreasing, in the sense people are taking into account more diversity and inclusion now. That is my second point says there is no age for learning, right? You each and every day, even if you're not learning what you're not learning anything theoretical, but practically you are learning most of things every day, and every day teaches you new things. You come across people, you try to learn new, you try to imbibe the negative things, you try to imbibe the positive things, you try to figure it out, the solution to the problem. Sometimes the solution comes in a go, sometimes it age, even the oldies people, who those who are very let me say that plus people, they are curiosity, the enthusiasm to learn. So actually there is no age for learning, but while I was reading a paper, it says that on contrary, the Indian Corporation are enhancing diversity and inclusion practices, but they're excluding the ageism. There is a kind of a mindset which is happening that if I catch up a younger generation, I could get more results, and the rate of attrition, on the contrary, would be lesser in the older ones, which is a positive sign. Okay, so I'll come to certain myths which a younger workers which are there amongst the employers for the younger workers, and also the myths which are among the employers for the older generation. So coming on to my next slides, which says, what challenges do the old job seeker face? So these are the employers' concern. Employee की क्या क्या concern होता है अगर उनको hire करना है, तो if they want to hire older people, so there is a kind of जो दिमाग में चल रहा होता है, it's like cost more than the younger worker in terms of salary, benefits, and insurance. We always, the more we are experienced, we ask for more benefits, and depending upon age, we ask for the insurance part also comes into a picture. And once if a person is 40 plus, 50 plus, they have their own set ways, which is very difficult for him or her to deviate from that particular ways. So that is why we always talk about unlearn, learn, and relearn. So that is there. And the employer concerns, and I must tell you, it is from the employer angle, and it is not short. So we'll break all these points in the coming slides. We say that they have less energy, they have very less focus. Since they are old, so they'll take more days off. They'll take sick leave and something like that. They're very uncomfortable. They don't know the technology happening around, what's happening around. They're not at par with the latest tech things which are happening. They're not so fast as the young generation are, and sometimes they feel very resentful, in the sense they're very sad when they try to work, and they feel very bad when there is somebody who's younger than them supervising them. Not everybody take that positively. So that is it. When I was transitioning from military to corporate, when I was giving interviews for other companies, and I must tell you, there are younger lots still, and they're doing so well, and too much to learn from them. And even in Forge, we generally learn from a younger lot, especially the sailors who are actually 25, 26. You try to learn so much from them, and also from the senior lot. So I must say that in military services, age is not a barrier, in the sense that there's so much to learn. It's like you try to accept things as they come to your way. And especially in corporates also, when I'm working here, I could see younger generation, they know a lot much, and they're trying to teach you, and they're happy to teach you once you are there in front of them asking so and so questions, and even the questions are very lousy, they're happy to teach us. So we'll come to this point wherein it says maybe resentful if they have to work under young supervisor. We'll just double check with there are certain myths associated with all these points. Let's go one by one. What are the myths about older workers? We say older workers can't or won't learn new skills. So the study says older workers have better study attitude than younger workers. The fast growing group of internet users is over 50. People above 50 are now more using it. They're more, since their children are using internet, they are being taught how to go WhatsApp, using Instagram and using other social, networking sites, and using certain apps which are Times of India apps, in Google. That's all, is catching up hold of the old generation more. So that's a kind of a myth that they can't or won't learn new skills. They can, and it's just a curiosity one should have. The other thing is older workers take more sick days. The younger generation tend to, they have a kind of a fiddling mind. There are 10 things going on, but the older people are a little patient, and they take things one by one, and they enjoy being, coming to that particular stage wherein they can learn things from the new generation. So the reality is that the best part is they can sit for hours, they can study. You could see your uncle and your grandpa or your father reading newspaper, and at the same time you cannot see a younger lot reading 2 pages of a book. All right, so that kind of patience they carry. So so that's a myth that they'll take more sick days, unless and until that exceptional case are always there. That happens in young generation as well. All right. So the other part is older workers are bad at investment since they're near retirement. So they say that, okay, we are retiring now. Now you tend to think of investment when you're more young. You tend to invest things. You tend to think of more policy. But then now they are saying, oh, my life is now over. Now I'm on the verge of retirement. I've done what all work I need to do. I've saved the money for my family. So they bad at investment in the sense they don't think much of investment, but the reality is that they tend to be very loyal. All right, and they actually think from 20 years. If you take the day they were 25, 26 or 30, they used to plan the investment 30 plus years in advance. So they're very loyal to this particular investment. So that's a myth that they're bad at investment, and since they're nearing in retirement. Older workers take more sick days. This we have completed. A bad investment we have completed. The older workers are not that productive as younger workers. So as far as accuracy, dependability, and capacity to be on the spot judgment is concerned, the productivity is increased in the Indian incorporation because of the older workers. They are much more and they're much more accurate, and because of their experience. And the last one is older workers are more costly to the bottom line. So older workers are typically more punctual. They have better, this we have covered. So generally there are certain 4-5 myths which employers carry, and the reality is that I'll come to the point later, but the reality is that there are certain very strong hold which a older generation carries, and if you hire them, they'll give you much better results, and there's actually no comparison. There need not to be a comparison. That's why I'm saying age discrimination should not be, then in the sense there shouldn't be any comparison. We shouldn't say that, we'll not hire old or we're done, it's like either old or young or and, okay. So there shouldn't be any comparison. Now coming to the younger generation, what challenges do younger workers face? So what are the employers' concern? Younger workers, then we need constant praise. Okay, they want appreciation, they want rewards, they want recognition, they want appraisals. So they want whatever they have done every day, or maybe in a week, in a month, or quarterly, they should be praised. Okay, they don't have experience and maturity. Maturity they do have, but I'm talking generally, they don't have broadly. Obviously they don't have much of an experience. There's a high attrition because they generally switch from one job to another because they'll see a job which is high paying and then they'll switch to another. So the attrition rate becomes more for the particular company because of the younger lot. They think they knew everything. It's a kind of a complacent attitude which they have. They say that, they think, okay, oh, I know this, I know that, even though they don't know. So that's a kind of a thinking they have. Oh, it's an oldie sitting, he might not be knowing, he might not be a good techie, but okay, I know I can catch up immediately, which I think it's not the case with everybody. Not everybody knows everything, okay? And they're not interested in climbing ladder. They're more focused on the pay, and instead of doing, and I'm not saying, again, these are my personal views. I'm not saying that it is 100% what I'm saying is correct, but it's a generic mindset which happens amongst people. Though there are many who are interested in climbing ladder, but then it's like they switch more, 1 year, and then they give the interview, you go to another job, or after 2 years you switch, and they're considered to be less loyal. We'll come one by one. These are all myths, and we'll just cull out the myths and show you guys the reality. All right. Young workers are self-centered. So they're not self-centered. They're looking for the quick feedback, even the positive feedback, the negative feedback. They're looking for from the employers. Even if they have not done better, they want that a kind of a positive feedback, and quick connect should be made with them so that they improve. Okay. The main problem is the communication problem. The counselors, the buddies, the higher up managers, they should connect with the junior ones and tell them, especially during the time when they're not doing good. All right. And so they need a quick feedback. They're looking for involvement. That's what I'm talking about, the communication. And they want looking for the tips to improve. So they're not self-centered. Young workers do not put in any work. So this is a kind of a purposeful workforce. Younger generation are looking for, okay, I'm doing work here, but what is my purpose? What am I learning, and how I can give back to the company? All right. And when we say they switch more because they learn different things more. All right. So they always have a meaning to it. If I'm learning about some software here, what should I do to switch so that for other company I'll be beneficial? What should I do? So I should learn what is going in the market. Okay, they'll have to they'll do some kind of a meaningful work in a day. So each day for them is purposeful. So we can say they do not put in any work, but in the back end they're doing something which is actually purposeful. Young workers have no face-to-face social skills. They're tune in with latest technology, and they're so fast in collaboration, in cooperation, in talking to the client, in talking to the people. Nowadays young generation, they're very outspoken, and that's a positive thing. And they convey, even if they're not liking things, they'll just convey it. Then the older generation, young workers think that they know more than the experienced workers. So no, they don't think that way. It's just like they're waiting to be learned. They want to get taught, even though the older experienced person is teaching them, they're fine. It's only the curiosity the young generation have to learn, and to pay back to the Indian Ink. All right. So So these are the myths for the younger, and the each have their each group of and a set of people you hire have their own benefits, own pros and cons, and each individual is unique. You can see good results from the oldies and bad results as well, and similarly you can see bad results from the younger ones and good results from them as well. So the advice for the job seekers, who are facing the age stereotyping mindset is, the best weapon is the positive attitude. Whenever you go, at whatever age you're retiring, if you want to work, you will get a job. Okay, if you want to work of your choice, you will get that. But you are focused, and your attitude should be positive. The curiosity for you to learn, should be 100%. All right, and it's a kind of eagerness from within. It should happen. All right, and age, don't think of an age at all. You need not to think. And you will do wonders, and especially in the modern, or you can say the modern countries, in the developed country. India is a developing country. The developed countries, there is no age discrimination. All right, there's no age discrimination at all, and in India also there is not. But when you're 50, we kind of Indians have a kind of mindset. When you're 50, you say, oh, who will take me now? And I'm not at par with the younger lot. Or like if I'm 30 plus, I could say, oh, my child, she is brilliant, or he is brilliant. They're doing things. So, but you can also do it. All right, it's just that the curiosity, and there is no comparison among individual, among people, irrespective of the age. There's no comparison. So number first is use your best weapon. Your best weapon is your positive attitude. Second is make your age an asset and focus on unique selling proposition. All right, what you tend to give to the company. All right, you need to focus that on. Okay, and we are talking about hiring talent. Is when you want to get hired. So you want to go. So you need to brush up yourself. You need to tell them what they want to know. All right. So when you are giving an interview to an interviewer, an interviewee can make interviewer ask questions which he or she wants. Okay. I can say I have done a course here. I've done this course. I'm sure he or she will ask, what is that course all about? And that's how you are triggering. And you know that answer well. All right. So focus on your USP and try to pinpoint those areas while you're getting interviewed, so that you come with the mind that you can see 22 years, 23 years of children above the younger generation are making into UPSC, and they're taking decisions of the state, the district, and people above 50 years, they are doing so well outside. Stereotype yourself with respect to the age. You yourself don't do it. Let the employer think, and that mindset will change of the employer once you go and present yourself and market your skill. Upgrade your skills and get tech savvy. Upgrade your skills in whichever domain you're applying it. Get tech savvy in whichever domain. You need to figure it out as to where you want to go. Do your homework. Always study. Everything is, everything requires everything requires a plan. Deliver it, and practice might require some days or some hours of practice, but it's required. So all the time, it's mandatory that you do your homework. You need to analyze yourself, practice what do you want to speak, okay, how you want to communicate, what do you want to sell, how you want to trigger an employer to ask you certain set of questions, what skills you want to show it to them, what strengths, how you want to portray your weakness. All right, so you need to do your homework and take a pen and a paper. That's my suggestion, and write it, and that will be very helpful. Make finding your job your current job. All right, so when you're transitioning from, I'll give you my example. When I was in Navy and I was going in corporate, and there was a break, I used to find a job. So that, my current job was finding a job. All right. Because it keep on triggering, you have been working for 11 years. I'm talking about the experienced people. And then you say that I don't want a month when I'll not get a salary. And then you keep on finding a job, keep on networking. That's my next point. Networking, keep on talking to people. You break your introvert attitude. There are people who are introverts. You break that attitude. You talk to people. You fight with people. There are friends. There are enemies. There are foes. You don't know how to. You improve talking to people. You go and try networking. The people who will say, "Okay, thank you." There are people who will shake hand. There are people who say, "Oh, all the best." Okay. There are people who will say, "Oh, maybe next time." All right. And there are people who will say, "Okay, give me your CV." So there are chances of you getting selected. So irrespective of age, or you'll come back learning something from them. All right. So try networking. Have a resume that look forward and not backward. Look forward at what you are trying to give to the company. Irrespective of the age, you talk to people who are trying to give, not what you have done. Oh, I got a medal, I got a certificate, I got appraisal, I got so much so high, I got awards, I got rewards and recognition. No, that's okay. You got it. That's there in your CV. What we can give it to us as an employer? I'm asking. All right. So try telling them, I can give you this. I know this. I can give you this. This is what is happening around. I'm I'm upskilling myself. All right. I'm doing this. These are my certifications, but I know this. All right. Do tell things which are not there in your CV. And he will ask questions or she will ask questions and you're ready to answer it. All right. And that's my suggestion. Always be honest, relevant, creative, and strategic. Honest, you need to be true to the people, to the people who are hiring you. You need to be relevant. That means logical. Okay. Creative is something which, say, oh, this is the one, he's the one, she's the one. A little creative and a strategic attitude, something which you're done a kind of an out of box, which includes data, okay, and which you are able to present it to them in a sense which will benefit them, the company you are getting hired to. Okay. So always be honest, relevant, creative, and strategic. That's an advice for the job seekers. And I'm done, is it? All right. So I'll just say age is just a number. And thank you. I don't know. Faisal, I did complete it too early, I think.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for patiently hearing.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Nitika. Before we move into the Q&A session, we'll be initiating the poll. So request all the participants to kindly share your feedback. While doing so, request all the participants to kindly post your questions in the chat window. Once again, I thank all our participants for joining our session today. We have received a lot of inquiry about the e-certificate offered by HRAI. You can claim your e-certificate by sharing your details, name, and session attended in an email to the email ID provided in the chat window. Please ensure you do this by end of this month. We will email the e-certificates to you based on details received. Ms. Nitika, we have received some questions from the registrations. Unless we are having any questions that is coming up, we'll take those. So the first one is, what are some common misconceptions about older workers that might make employers hesitant to hire them?
Yeah. So I've, it was there in my slide as well. The older misconception is that, to my mind, is they're not tech savvy. They'll not match up with the younger lot, and they're a kind of, they'll take time to learn. All right, they'll not be able to catch up with the younger generation, and these are all myths. Okay, and most importantly is there's no growth. Okay, you give them a job, you keep on doing that job without no growth, in the sense no curiosity in them, and these are all myths. Okay, and I've seen people who are doing great and matching up with the standard of the younger generation.
Thank you, Visnidika. Moving on to the next question, it is, in what ways can hiring a diverse range of ages benefit an organization?
Yeah, so if you break the ageism or stereotyping mindset, and you hire the employee, you'll get age diversity will be a common, quote unquote term, wherein you can see people in a team of different age groups, and your culture of the team would be so good that you'll gain experience from the older generation, and the older generation will gain knowledge and will be more tech savvy and take things from the younger lot. In keeping the egos behind, the team would be so solid. Instead of diversity and inclusion, we talk about caste, creed, and color. It will be age, this thing. The age discrimination will be negated, and people from different age groups will be there, seen in the team doing work, and it would be fantastic. Irrespective of culture, and the ways to do it is just break this age stereotyping mindset of age from your mind as an employer, and just try taking more inputs from them, that what they can give it to the company, from the older ones and from the younger generation. For the younger generation, it's very easy, especially the older ones, they are being caught. So try taking inputs from them, and try seeing their background, what they have done. एक बार सीवी देख के पता चल जाता है कि क्या कर सकते हैं हमारे लिए आगे. बाकी उनके पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड से पता चल जाता है कि what they can bring back to us to the table. So the ways is, to first screen in. पहले तो लो उनके सारे सबके CVs लेना. You try accepting them as an employers, and if you try accepting, and then delete them if you want. And I'm sure if you delete out of 20, you delete 15, but 5 you're taking it. And this 5 to 10 and 15 will increase in future if you delete that particular age discrimination, age stereotyping, ageism from your mind. So.
True. Thank you, Ms. Nitika. So moving on to the next question, which is, how can employers ensure that they are not overlooking valuable skills and experience that older job candidates bring to the table?
Yeah. So what employers can do to when they dish out their job description, they can mention that we don't mention the age, okay, but we consider the age. So do mention it. It will be much clearer and much easy. So when you mention it, you will not consider it. That means you'll go generic. Okay, you don't take the older people, but you don't mention as well. So mention in your JD that age bracket so and so. अब सरकारी नौकरियों में तो मेंशन होता है 19.5 से 22 years तक आप दे सकते हैं, but आप corporate में you don't mention in JD, you mention those skills required. So either you mention that age bracket you mentioned from 25 till 40 can appear, those have these skills, and then you see older generation coming up, they'll be very happy, and you'll see so many people don't know, people are afraid. They have a stereotype that will not be able to match up with the younger lots. हमें ही लगता है कि हम अपने बच्चों से कैसे सीख पाएंगे, they're doing so good. तो हमारे पेरेंट्स को लगता होगा कि हम अपने बच्चों से, but the Indian corporation should go ahead and say no, you can do it much better. There's some who don't have that kind of discrimination, but there are many who have. So I am saying just write it out, just put it out in the in front of the employees that we are there to hire you, and you then in that case you cannot overlook. You just have the CV in your hand and then see which is good for you, and just take them. I mean, interview them. So first of all, you should have a CV. Pehli bari mein, if you just cull out, then it will be very difficult.
Thank you. The next question is, what are some strategies for building a workplace culture that values and respects of workers of all ages, that values and respects workers of all ages?
What is the strategy? Please come again. What are
Yeah.
the strategies?
What are some strategies for building a workplace culture that values and respects workers of all ages?
Okay, so communication, is there is no. I mean, the strategy is only. There is no physical thing which you need to make in office, wherein कि हाँ older generation के लिए you need to have a kind of a music जो भगवान का चल रहा है. No, it's just the communication. You just need to talk to them. You need to ask them. You need to take inputs from them. And the way you do it should be different than you are communicating to the younger ones. All right. And you see, and you need to be harsh to them as well. क्योंकि काम तो करवाना है फिर, people will take it for granted. So, but you need to wait properly. And there are specifically no strategies, but communication is the only strategy wherein up the line and down the line it should be there, and the ways of communication should be different, the frequency of communication should be different, rewards and recognition should be different, and from the younger lots, and that's only my suggestion. I think only the communication plays a major role to get the task from the people.
So we'll go with one last question. That is, how can employers balance the need of experience with the desire for a more diverse workforce? How can employers balance the need of experience with the desire of a more diverse workforce?
For a more diverse workforce, is the employers should, the question rolls around in the sense that we are talking about diverse culture. We are
Your voice is getting cut.
expanding a business in Myanmar, we are getting notes on it. But
Nitika, your voice is breaking.
Are you there now?
Yes. Now.
I'll just repeat. Let me know if you're able to hear
Now
me.
we are able to hear you.
Awesome. So I'm saying that India Incorporation should dig deep within India, all right, and try to search people who are actually, of diverse age groups. Okay, and you will see that I was reading somewhere wherein yesterday I was reading in Times of India here. So I was reading that there is a boy who's actually, I don't know, 10 years of age clearing 10th exam. And I could see 50 plus age, oldie running a marathon. All right. So there is, the only way is to try accepting people. Okay. And try to be little open. Don't be closed within Indian Incorporation, because people outside are more open. There is, we don't say uncle out. We call it by name. Okay. Even though वो हमसे कितने ही बड़े हैं, but हम बोलते हैं कि Mr. So and so, or we call it by name, right? Why? Because they're all treated at par. And so I must say that the employer should try to remove that stereotyping mindset with regards to age from their mind, and try to be a little open in considering the fact that everybody can give them the results, and it should be employee who should say that, I'm there for you to give you return by working very hard, by showing you the curiosity, by showing you the positive attitude, and you'll see that the attrition rate will come down, to be very frank. You'll balance the attrition rate. You'll have older workers at par with the younger workers. So
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Natika, for this insightful and intriguing session. It has been a pleasure being
Thank
with
you.
you today. I'm sure our participants
Thank
had a
you.
lot to learn and take away from this session. So before we conclude with today's session, we would also want to thank our event partners, Geisha, NASCOM COE, LinkedIn Local, Talgro, TLE, and WICCI for supporting these HREI events. To know more about them, request you to kindly visit the link provided in the chat window. Thank you once again, dear speaker and our participants, for joining us today. Do join us for our next session on connecting the dots on 4th of May 2023 at 3 p.m. That's it from our today's webinar. See you soon. Stay safe, take care, and bye for now. Thank you, Mr. Tika.
Bye-bye.
Thank you
Bye.
all.
Take care.
23 at 3 p.m.